Imagine a machine, one that has been constantly working for as long as you can remember. One that has always been better, stronger, and more efficient than the others. One that has always been preferred when compared to the rest because of how well it catches people's attention with its shiny wheels and gears, promising nothing but the best outcomes. Then one fine day, you find something. Something that you never expected to find on such a machine. Rust. Initially, just a tiny spot. A light yellowish orange spot, a spot so small that you barely see it. But you know that it's there. And that's what matters to you because you know you're deteriorating. Now, what would you do with this machine now that its very essence has been unfairly snatched away from it? Would you take it apart, throw it away, abandon it perhaps? Now imagine if this machine is you. All your life, you've been told that you're good at something to the point where it becomes a part of who you are. A part of your identity etched so well into your mind that you can't even picture yourself without that one thing. It becomes that one puzzle piece, the one with the most unique indentations and protrusions, one without which you're nothing but an incomplete puzzle. And although it might seem a little dramatic, without this singular component, your entire world will come crashing down. All my life, I've been extremely good at academics. In fact, my earliest memories of school are of me acing all my exams and getting the best grades in class. I'd always had a crystal clear idea of what was going on in school. Everyone around me, including my parents, my teachers, and even myself, thought that my academic journey would be a smooth one, without any bumps or pit stops. But what I failed to realize is that without my own knowledge, the younger me had set such unreal expectations for the future me. By unreal, I don't mean that getting good grades is not a possibility anymore. Of course it is. What I mean to say is that these standards did not take into account the various challenges that life could possibly throw at you. All of us would have heard of this adage. When life throws a curveball at you, hit it out of the park. But what if you didn't see the curveball coming? In 11th grade, life threw quite a nasty curveball at me. A physics paper which had told me that I had failed for the very first time in my entire life. And that was when my entire world came crashing down. Because until then, that was what I was good at. That was what I thought made me me. I felt like I had control over nothing because the one thing I thought I could control was no longer within my reach. It felt like a part of me was just floating away, drifting further and further away from me by the second. That's when I realized my shiniest wheels now lay rusting. That's when I started looking around, trying so hard to find a replacement, because every day I would wake up to the feeling of not being good at something, the nagging feeling of disappointment. And although I had some incredibly amazing friends who I'm very grateful for, who would constantly try to cheer me up and tell me that it was absolutely fine, I realized that this was a wound that I had to tend to by myself. The healing process of this wound included acceptance, perseverance, and realization. I realized that I needed to find the answer to one question. Who am I? Who am I without all the academic validation? Because that is just a part of me, not me as a whole. That's when I started looking around and found comfort in the various other parts of my life. I found comfort in the way my paintbrush glided across my canvas. I found joy in the way my head automatically bobbed to the music playing from my speaker. I found solace in the way the sky effortlessly went from a light shade of blue to a deep crimson. And eventually, I found that life is more. So much more than just a bad day, and that I was way more than just a bad grade. I found that it's all about constantly trying and not being afraid to try. You get a bad grade once, so what? You lost a match, so what? You're not the perfect person that everyone around you thought you were, so what? We're all just human beings, and there are going to be instances where we do our very best and still fail miserably. But that is exactly what life is about. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you woke up and decided to give it a shot again. And that makes you stronger. Now, coming back to the part where I asked you to imagine yourself as machines. If you begin to rust, you cannot just sit back and let it get the best of you. In fact, this rusting can be used as a catalyst in your growth process. Rusting forces you to stop, take a step back, and assess your situation, which is extremely crucial, especially for us students. Use this to your advantage. Use this to figure out the parts that are out of your control and find meaning in the things that you do have control over. From there, slowly but steadily, start building yourself up again. It's so incredibly sad to think that we're all just like machines programmed to think that if we don't function a certain way or if we begin to rust, we become useless to ourselves and everyone around us. It is true. All of us will eventually begin to rust. The laws of nature will catch up. But why is it that we need to focus on the negative aspects of it when we can focus on its beauty? We need to find beauty in the change brought by time. We need to find beauty in the scars, both physical and emotional, left behind as a symbol of our strengths. And we need to find beauty in the history written in the very fibers of rust, because after all, isn't rusting just a beautiful painting on the surface of a metal that tells a story? A story of resilience and adaptation? Thank you.